Welcome back. I'm Andrea Jackson along with Mitch English and Matt Doolittle. We're hanging out in the Daily Flash kitchen today, and it is time for Roundtable, even though we're in front of a rectangular table.
We should get a Roundtable.
We should, right? Today's focus is on relationship rules. Should you have some, or is having rules a bit archaic? Experts say you should most definitely have relationship rules, including never compare your relationship to others, don't avoid the uncomfortable stuff, and don't rely on love alone. I'm not sure those are so much rules, it's just more advice. So guys, should you and your partner have relationship rules, or do you think a firm set of rules interferes with the relationship? Matt, newly married.
Newly married
Let's
Matt.
start with the new groom.
The matrimony.
Yeah, the matrimony.
I think in my past relationships we did, but in this one that's actually worked, we don't have like set dead rules. Like we just kind of picked them up. Like I let her know who I'm with. I let her know if we're going out, especially if I'm with Mitch. FaceTime her.
Usually it's get home.
Usually
now.
I'm home.
When it's me.
It's more like a respect thing that I've just learned over the years to just to communicate better is really what I've had to find out.
Okay, Mitch.
As far as like the rules that you had just mentioned off the top there, I think every relationship you have should have that. Even you and I, our work relationship, we should have something on our mind. We need to talk about it because otherwise it'll blister out to something. However, there are certain rules that we've kind of set aside that are not necessarily written down, but they're known. If I'm on my phone and she starts talking or asking me questions, she has to either wait until, hey, I need to ask you something.
That's
okay, let me finish it. And I cannot, same both ways, pick up the phone while we're having a discussion.
Yes.
Because it's saying, look, you're just not giving me all my attention right now, so apparently it's not important to you. Which kind of goes back to what we were saying about just talking, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So those sort of things, I think, it wasn't like when we first started dating that we said, put these rules, but as you are with somebody and you've been with Alan for 8 years, you develop those rules.
You do, it's a communication thing, I think, for most of it. And Matt kind of hit it on the head when he said, look, you just got to know that you communicate with somebody. If you're going to be late, if you're running behind, where are you? It's nice to know that someone cares where you are enough to expect that you let them know what time you might be home, if you're on your way, what's going on. It's little things.
I think back to that, one of the first ones is that not comparing your relationship to others. I think because it's like the Facebook thing, because
example.
like, well, they have such a great marriage. Oh, do you see how he does? Well, that's how when we see him. Yeah. But and if you try to, which is nothing wrong with that, trying I'd like to get to that point, but you can't emulate it.
You don't see him screaming and yelling behind the scenes. And her and I travel a lot for work. She's all over the country, and we go on these trips to these conventions where we're with a lot of different people, and she's with corporate executives and everything. So we're just like, hey, what are you doing? Or I know that between this time, even if I text her with the most important thing in the world, I'm not going to get a hold of her because she's in some corporate banquet office that she just can't look at her phone. And I understand that. So for those 6-7 hours, I know it's like, I'm gonna have no communication.
Do you think there are different rules for celebrity relationships? Because remember we talked about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and she laid down a list of rules for him. He can't take pictures with other women. They've got to FaceTime one another when they're apart. He can't wear certain things.
Well, we have an actor friend who has his own rules that he won't do makeout scenes with anybody, even in his acting classes. He just felt like it's like he's like, I don't want to cross that line with my wife and even try that.
Yeah, and if and again, every marriage is different. But to what Jackson was saying is that it seems like if you start off saying this is what's bothering me, okay, and if you can live by that, then there's no issue whatsoever.
Right.
I do see, first off, you are automatically trying to change somebody, but you're also being who, look, this is what I'm going to put up with. Maybe have a discussion about like, well, let me tell you what, part of my job is I have to take pictures. I'm not justifying anything, but I have to be around women. Sometimes I take pictures. So if you see one, I'll let you know, but I don't know if I can hold true to that rule.
But I think it's best to be upfront about the boundaries you're willing to keep and what you won't cross. And if that doesn't work for you, then maybe that's not the relationship for you.
That's what you should think. We would love to hear what you have to think about this. Why don't you either head to our website, dailyflashshow.com, or just simply drop us an email. It's flash@dailyflashshow.com.